What? I got something in my throat as soon as I went to read. What's up, you beauties? Welcome to HW Hockey's YouTube channel, episode 15, season 8. I'm your host, Jim Wyckoff, joined as always by Jack Smith. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the alert button so you never miss a show. We should have 2 streams available tonight, at least I think. We're doing something new, or at least StreamYard and YouTube are trying something new with the vertical view, where I believe it makes it easier to watch on your phone or your laptop. So let us know what you guys think about the new views. This way, some feedback on that is good. If we should continue doing it in the future, we need to know. For all podcast listeners out there, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcast or Spotify so you're first in line when newest episodes drop. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a massive topic-packed show. A lot of good things to talk about, Jack. Pretty much up and down the board, from the Flyers to the offense, defense, goaltending, Phantoms, who are playing tonight against the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. I believe last time I saw they're down 2-0, but lots of good things to talk about, Jack. And let's kind of dive right into things here. Let's not waste any time because we only have 60 minutes, and I want to make sure that we can fit all this stuff in. Right off the bat, Flyers start 3-2-1, right? I don't know about you. You were a little bit more optimistic than I was. I didn't know when they were going to get their first win. They started out a little slow against the defending 2-time Stanley Cup champion Panthers. Could have won that game. Maybe should have won the game against Carolina, right? And then since then, what are they? 3-2-1? They are 3-1-1 since. And I think the game where they got beat was the game against Winnipeg, where it didn't look like either team really wanted to be out there, kind of thing. So the Flyers very well could be a 5-1 team at this point. 3-2-1, still not bad. But lots of positive things to talk about, Jack. And, there's not just one thing to attribute it to, but maybe the biggest thing so far. And that's DARTH Dan Vladar, Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's not, look, he's playing fantastic, but it's not just like, Charlie's Hamburgers here. Let's pump the brakes of the Hall of Fame. And I get that. Like, we're like over the moon about it. But it's more so, it's such a pendulum swing from how bad the goaltending was last year that you're just getting competent, even good. He's been more than competent. He's been pretty good, in this very short early goings. And it's made such a massive difference. In my opinion, the team's 4-2 because that BS goaltender interference against Carolina doesn't exist in my world. So I understand it exists in the standings, but I'm telling you, the team is, you're asking for a lot. The team is 4-2 in my eyes, and that's phenomenal. The only true clunker they had for me was the Winnipeg game. And that was and it wasn't all on him, but that was an arson game. Both teams looked pretty sluggish. It was boring. And it just overall was just a bad game. Other than that, opening night against Florida, I thought, look, they were in that game until a fluke goal in the third period from Marchand. In my opinion, they beat Carolina. They did beat Florida. They did beat the Wild. They did beat Seattle. And the Wild in overtime was fantastic. They are, and that outside of Seattle, that's a pretty rough start to your season. And even Seattle came in without a loss in regulation. And I understand they were without McCann, but everything I'm seeing, there's so much more good to talk about now than there is bad. And it didn't seem like it was going to go that route, but I'm glad we're here and I'm glad that's what we're talking about. And it's amazing what the goaltending can do. Certain players really stepping up, and it kind of, puts it, you kind of forget about some of them you don't, but you kind of forget about some of the bad. But this is for a team trying to turn the corner, trying to make the playoffs and attract free agents. It's a good start to the season for sure.
Yeah. And, I don't want to blow things up about Vladar yet, but let me just share the screen here. So I just wanted to make sure that we were live because I could see at the top right of our screen here, it still says we still have the go live option, which usually means that we're not live. So thanks for confirming. Okay. So let's share some stats here. Dan Vladar, Sam Ersson, essentially we're splitting starts, one after the other, back and forth kind of thing. Until recently, when Dan Vladar played in his fourth game, where Sam Ersson still just played in 2 games. And through 4 games so far this year, Dan Vladar is 3-1 with a 1.75 goals against average and a .929 save percentage. Can you imagine that, Jack?
No.
Goalie with a save percentage over 900, and not just over 900, 929. It looks great. Before the season started, I know we're only 6 games in. All right. So before the season started, what were we hoping for from the goalie position, from Dan Vladar?
Just 900.
Stabilize the right. Just
league average.
Yeah, just be a guy that we could rely on. You know what you're getting from. And now, sure, should we get our hopes up right now? It's kind of hard not to, right? Because he's played well. At the same time, you would assume there's going to be some regression. And even if his goals against average hovers above 2, like a 2.25, and the save percentage falls to like 905, 910, that's fine. Stabilize the position. Let Sam Ersson get in there for a few games. And Ersson has to raise his play a little bit here. He hasn't looked, he's looked like the Sam Ersson of the last few years here, right? Where the rest isn't really doing him any good. So it could be a problem. We'll see. We're only 6 games into the year. But Vladar is definitely holding up his end of the bargain here. Now Sam Ersson has to raise his play a little bit.
Vladar also is just built like a goal. I love his size. He's 6'5", and where Fedotov was 6'7". Like, he looked funky at times. Like he was, a gazelle on skates or something. Like he just looked awkward in the position when it came to using his size to his advantage. He looks small in the net for being 6'7", where Vladar is a big goalie and he looks big in goal. That's why a lot of plays look very routine when it comes to him. And that's all we're asking for. Make the easy routine saves. It'll go a long way with this team. And he seems to be doing that and then some in the early going. And that's all you can ask for. So hopefully he can keep that going. We'll see what happens with Ersson. Everybody's a little down on him now. I'm curious how much more playing time he's going to get. This is the first back-to-back starts that Vladar has had. We'll see how long that keeps going. We'll see what happens if Vladar dips. I'm not going to start talking about, and Jim doing a great job with the AHL and all those updates, but I'm not going to start talking about Kolosov, Bjarnason anytime soon, nor should we. But, Ersson's going to, when he gets in there, he's really going to have to at least have a good game. Even when he's played well, Ersson, he always seems to be giving up 4 or 5 goals. Even if, I can't really blame this on him, can't really blame that on him. He always seems to be giving up a lot of goals in games. Unfortunately, it is what it is. And if you're a team trying to win games, the way Tocchet has been coaching these teams, where he's only icing players when it matters because they're skating, Vladar's going to get the majority of the starts. And at this time, I really don't have an issue with that. I like Ersson. Maybe there's still something there, but I don't see him as a guy that we need to get out there all the time and see what we have, because I kind of think we know what we have, and there'll be plenty of starts to give. Going forward, though, if you're trying to win, as of now, as of today, Vladar is hands down your guy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the next 4 games, at least the last 4 games of October. The Flyers are on the road tomorrow night in Ottawa, and then it's sort of a soft part of the schedule here with the Islanders at home on Saturday, and then they have the Penguins at home on Tuesday, and then the Nashville Predators at home next Thursday. Now, normally, or what I would expect, is a rotation of goalies here, because there's some softer teams. Get Ersson in. Look, I think Ersson has faced, and I could be mistaken here, the Hurricanes and the Jets. 2 pretty tough teams. So I'll cut him some slack. The numbers aren't great by any means, but I'll cut him a break. If there's a chance for him to rebound and get some confidence in, I would try to sneak him in 2 of the next 4 games. Even though Vladar's played, pretty phenomenal up to this point. And then if he falters in one of the 2 starts, it's kind of like, all right, well, we'll move back to Vladar getting the 3 out of every 4 games kind of thing until Vladar needs a break.
Yeah,
Makes sense?
it does. And you don't want to have him go cold or anything like that. It's my understanding that he has pretty good numbers against the Islanders, and that's also the next home game. So I would think he starts that game. I would probably keep Vladar in for the Senators. And I hope that Vladar plays against Pittsburgh because I want to beat Pitt. And they're like at the top of the division right now. Well, they got some wins right now. It's as a joke as that may seem. I still want to beat them. And maybe Erson could get into that Nashville game or something. But, if you want to get him feeling a little bit better, maybe get him out there at home against a team that he typically has better numbers against. And he's only been in the league a couple of years, so it's not like it's an Islanders team of 10 years ago he has good numbers against. So anything to boost his confidence and what have you. Hopefully that's a game that they're playing too. It's a division game, Shabanov, all that stuff. So they're playing for him, and hopefully a couple other things come through. So we'll see what we have there. It's one of those things though. At the end of the day, when I think about the goalie pipeline, Erson's pretty damn replaceable. But Grant Schilly brings this up. Erson seems adept at playing a backup. His best numbers were when he was the backup to Hart. And even when Hart left and he took over for a while, he kept it going for a little bit and then trailed off. And maybe he was just playing off of those starts and how well he played and then ultimately couldn't keep it together because the next, season and this season so far have not been too kind to Erson. So maybe he is what he is. But again, if you're a backup, you got to come in and play well at times too. So we're still waiting on that. You are right, though. He has faced some stiff competition. So I think an Islanders matchup should, even if he gets a start against the Senators, I don't think they're like a bubble playoff team. So he should be able to, if he is what we think he can be, I think that's a manageable game for him.
Yeah. Get him in there. Surprised that the Penguins were 5-2. So early in the year, early in seasons, I don't really, and maybe it's because the Flyers haven't been good, but I don't really check the standings as much as I used to. Surprised to see the Penguins 5-2. Not going to lie there. So
yeah, I don't know.
Not going to be as easy as a game as I thought.
Well, they blanked the Rangers like on opening night. It was like, okay, that happens though. That weird goofy stuff does happen. At the same time, I saw I think they were 4-2 at the time. I saw, is McKenna really the star we thought he was going to be? It's okay. Penguins are nowhere near the bottom at the early of the season, already starting to question McKenna. It's all a big conspiracy, but no, I don't see it lasting.
Yeah, no. Okay. Well, I think that's enough goal. Actually, you know what? Well, we could save the Phantom stuff if we have time at the end, because I do want to talk about the Phantoms goaltending. It's just the Flyers goaltending in the system is just hot in general. You got Vladar, Bjarnason, Kolosov. We'll get to those guys. If we don't get to those guys, go check out the video I put out, I think yesterday or early. What's today? Wednesday? Came out today. You can catch up on all your Phantoms prospect talk there if we don't have time at the end of our episode today. All right, let's move on because we have a lot of guys we want to talk about. A lot of guys are off to hot starts here. We talked about the Flyers 3-2-1. It's a tough stretch. The Metro, not as bad as maybe people thought it was going to be. There's not a team in the Metro under 500. So that's interesting. We'll see if that keeps up. The reason I brought that up is everything seems to be clicking for the Flyers right now, except Matvei Michkov. Now he did have a goal and an assist since the last time we did a show. What's there to say about Michkov, Jack?
Well, he's still out of shape, I guess. It's so funny because some of the stuff that's happening with him, I'm like, if this was Tortorella and not Tocchet, oh my God. Yeah. But it's like, I'm not saying I feel vindicated or anything, but I'm just saying like, it's something you need to keep an eye on. You can't, the one play in particular, was it against the Wild? I can't remember exactly. Like he is nowhere near where he should be. No. He's abandoning the team. Like you can't, I get it. The home run pass, it's fun. If you're in a funk, you get a breakaway, get you out of it potentially, but you can't do that. He thinks like there's a loose puck and it's like, he assumes the Flyers are going to come away with it. You can't do that. Even if they do come away with it, you can't abandon for the outlet pass completely and just go for the home run. Like, you just got to be more selective with it. I think a lot of it is because he's not up in shape. He's trying to like almost cheat it a little bit. And the way part of me is glad. I know people are worried. Oh, he's going to want to trade or whatever. Well, you got to like instill this and nip it in the bud early. Like you can do that at certain times. Like, look, if we're at a playoff game and we're down 2 goals and we're running out of time, start taking chances. Or if you notice that this defenseman's pinching and we just got the puck, go for it. You got a clear outlet, something like that. But just going for the sake of going when you can't even confirm whether we have the puck or not, you can't do that. It shows that led to a goal. And Tocchet has had issues with his overall play, and he's saying he's not even putting him in overtime at all. He hasn't played at all. He's out. I'm going with the players who are skating, and that's telling. I think it's the nicest way to put it at this point. I don't think he's been like dog shit or anything. He's definitely still made some nice plays. He had a pretty good goal, but when you look at all the stats, like it's all Tippett, obviously. Coots, even TK got his first goal the other night. It's everybody else and Cates has been pretty good, and Forrester as well. But like I'm naming all these names and none of them are Michkov, so I can see it being like a little bit of an issue. But ultimately, it's going to be a process, especially you talk about getting back into shape. I have no idea if the ankle's 100% healthy. I would assume it is. It needs to happen sooner rather than later. We're at the 6th game mark now. Tomorrow will be the 7th. Around 10, 11, it's going to be a little concerning, So ultimately, we'll see. He is a young guy. Was he 20? He turns 21 in like December, So, but think of it this way: if I were to put a positive spin on it, I think he'll come out of it. I think he's got too much dog in him to not come out of it. He's too much Jordan in him to want to be good and be dominant. And the Flyers should be 4-2, but 3-2-1 without him. Like that is saying something. For a while, they were doing it without him and Konecny. So the team itself seems pretty stable in the early goings. And if he gets going and some other guys get going, I mean, the other night they had 2 goals on the power play, Jim. In this economy, when was the last time they did that? That's wild. So, it sucks. I'm starting to get a tad worried. Nothing crazy. They're kids. He's 20 years old. Like I got to like pump the brakes. Remember that. It's a thing, part of it to me is like, how much do I believe? That's what it comes down to. Do I believe how out of shape he is versus the new system, versus the new coach, versus the way Michkov wants to play? There's a million factors. I have no reason to like not trust this organization at this time, this new regime, I should say. But I wouldn't say I'm 100% in belief of their timeline of things. So most of that is just worrisome of me and him not being what he was last year. But he didn't score right away last year either, so he scored by this point. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not there yet.
The only reason that I'm not worried about Michkov and more outspoken about what I'm seeing is because the other guys are playing so well. Otherwise, it would absolutely be my number one issue. Number one, I mean, the out of shape stuff, whatever happened in the summer, we don't know why. If we're just going to believe what they're saying and he hurt his ankle training, fine. But mention that before the season or camp even started. All right. So to me, that's BS.
Right.
Number 2. Okay.
That's my little 98% belief. 2% disbelief is like, why did this come out of nowhere? Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, but anyways, let's just say like, okay, so here we are. He's out of shape. Right? He's getting back into playing shape, whatever you want to call it. The other thing for me is he might be a little stubborn, right? Because Tortorella was on his ass all last season about what he's doing now, right? So Michkov says a lot of the right things in the media, right? And he seems like a mature kid. At the end of the day, he's still a kid. And sophomore slumps are a real thing. Maybe he thought, I came into the league last year. I put up 63 points. Who knows what happened over the summer? Maybe he wasn't busting his ass like he should have been. Who knows? Comes into this season out of shape, thinks it's going to be a cakewalk. I don't know. He doesn't have to do the rope skate, yada, yada. He doesn't have that fear coming into training camp, like my ass better be in gear. And maybe he's just not. And so the stuff that he's doing now should have already been coached out, and to me, it's a little concerning to see that he's trying to, I don't want to say force his way, but old habits or whatever you want to call it are still there, are still creeping back in. You need to play the way the coach is asking you to play, unfortunately. Like, there will be times when he can do his thing. But there's a certain way. You can't leave the neutral zone while you have 4 other guys playing defense. You leave when the puck is out, kind of thing. I don't know. There's some things that are concerning. But like I said, there are too many other good things for me to make a big deal about that, right? I don't know. So Travis Konecny, for example. I don't think Konechny's looked bad this season, but people expect Konecny to score points, score goals. That's what he gets paid $8 million a year to do. Scored a goal the other night, had a nice assist, yada, yada. And Dan's right here. We can backpedal a little bit for Michkov here, Jackie. So Dan says he looked in shape all those practices where he stayed out late. Things aren't adding up. Yeah, look, like I said, we can make a bigger deal about this if we want, but there's just too many other good things going on, I think. What do you think, Jack?
It was odd because it was like a good feeling coming out of camp, hearing how they would practice, they would, scrimmage, and then he and Zegras are staying afterwards and practicing high skill plays. Like, if you have, then again, I'm not an NHL player. I don't know what in shape is. And there was I think, what if they had the rope skate and, we probably, Travis Ballingham would probably be there with a picture of Michkov puking if he was really out of shape like that, but we'll never know. So it's hard to say. It just came out of nowhere. We knew all about Forrester. We knew all about every other injury everybody else had, but nothing on Michkov. That's a little, unless it was so minuscule, maybe they didn't think it was going to be an issue. Maybe they thought his skill would be better or something, or maybe they thought they would equate it to the car wreck issue he had earlier, something like that, and they didn't want that getting out or whatever. It leaves enough doubt to be like, things that make you go,
Yeah.
And I don't like that. It's not enough for me to be upset or anything yet, but it is definitely a strange thing. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. One thing to keep in mind, last year coming in, he's brought over. Remember, Keith Jones is carrying his bags and Danny's, carrying his sticks. And they're like, welcome him to the United States. He's the greatest thing. And if you went to a Flyers game last year, you went for Michkov. Last year was the Michkov show. And he part of him, I'm sure, knew it. And he was finally in the NHL. He was ready to rock and roll. Everything was going right for the kid. Year 2, you got some adversity, not going so hot. Let's see how he handles it. Because every player, especially stars, are going to deal with adversity. So and again, culture shock, all that stuff still applies. The language barrier, everything. Let's see how he handles it. And not to mention, full new coaching staff, new coach, the whole 9. Just remember that Danny and Keith Jones they understand that Michkov's the cornerstone of this rebuild. So it's not like I don't think they'll give Tocchet full reign to completely doghouse the kid. And he did say you're going to play yourself out of it.
Yeah.
I hope he gets some more play late in the third, if not overtime. But I also understand him having to earn it. There's a couple of question marks that are, a little funny about his injury and whatnot. But the way make this all goes away, just starts playing well again. That's it. Yeah. Or responsible. Start with responsible, then the well will come later. So take what I can get.
Well, he's going to have his work cut out for him, that's for sure, because there are a lot of guys in front of him right now that are playing well. And one of those guys I want to talk about is Trevor Zegras, who is doing exactly what we'd hoped he'd do in this lineup. He's feasting, right? He's got a bunch of guys, imagine this. The Flyers have a bunch of guys that can shoot the puck, right? And what did they lack for a few years now? A guy that can set people up. Whereas in the past, it's been, the Flyers have all these distributors. They don't have any shoot-first guys. They go out and acquire a Zegras. He's going to feast this season, Jack, and he's doing it already. He's got an assist in 5 straight games. I believe 5 points now in 6 games played. And that's going to be all year. You could put him on any line you want. there's going to be guys that can put the puck in the net, whether it's Tippett, TK, Forster, Michkov, you name it. Zegras is going to feast here. And then he's telling Tocchet he wants to see tape because he feels like he had more opportunities for more points. Trevor Zegras, look, he's playing well, but I think he's being overshadowed a little bit by some of these other guys that we're going to get to. And it's kind of just, I think it's going to be his game, but I think he's got real potential to put up 50 assists this year, like for real. Like if I was kind of talking out of my ass in the show a couple weeks ago when we were doing projections, whatnot, I think Trevor Zegras legit has a shot at 50 assists this year. If he can put in 15, 20 goals, could be looking at a 75, maybe point per game guy here in Zegras, Jack.
Well, they've played 6 games and he's got 5 assists in the last 5 games. So almost there. And it is a new team. It's really, I mean, let's not forget, I don't know if we talked about it, but the assist, I think it was the second game of the season that he hit Coots on. Like, he's just a high skill player. And that's what this team has lacked. Whether he's a center or not, we'll figure out. And that, to me, that really all comes down just to faceoffs, not so much the rest of the position. So they can figure that out. A lot of these teams now roll with just 3 forwards and figure it out. They'll rotate and whatnot. But yeah, the high skill players outside of Michkov, who was just new to us last year, they've seriously lacked in quite some time. Honestly, since Giroux's heyday, and even then it was just him and Voracek for a while. So to get him for what we got and how much he has shown, how much he is enjoying his time with the Flyers. Here's a quote from Kevin Kurz, if you remember the Konecny Lindgren fight from the other night. Tippett's obviously on fire, so they're going after Tippett. And Konecny, I don't know if he did it with his fist or if it was when he smacked the ice, but Lindgren was busted open pretty good, wearing almost a crimson mask. And then in the penalty box, those two were going at it hard. There was another quote I saw where they were asking Konecny if they had history, him and Lindgren, and basically said, well, there is now. It's like, that's a great answer. But Zegras on that whole situation, according to Kevin Kurz, says, I saw him kept going at him, Owen Tippett, and he's our hottest guy. It was just one of those things where I was like, what are you doing? Then he just tried to jump me. Is there history between you two? There is now. That's it. That was the quote. And Zegras had come out and said how impressed he was with that whole situation. It's like, TK is like your best player, your most established player at least. And he's out there and he's a smaller guy and he's in a full fight to defend his teammates. It's like basically throwing shade at Anaheim. It's like, I didn't experience that over there. I think he may have said, like, this is awesome. Like, he's not experienced that. Zegras is just, and it's early, I understand. And he's got the points basically, but he's loving Philly. He really came in with the right mindset. He's got 2 of his buddies on the team, obviously, but he ain't dogging it. He's not just having a good time with his friends, seeing what happens. It seems like he's really enjoying the hockey culture here in Philly, and it's, I think, making him change a little bit too. I think part of that was his own, but it all seems to be in the early goings falling into place for Zegras. We may really have something here, just something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, totally. And so you mentioned, Zegras is going to feast with some of these guys that can shoot the puck. And there's a flip side to that is the guys that are playing with Zegras and even now a player like Sean Couturier, their numbers are going to go up because they're playing with the guy who can get them the puck. Like, that's all Zegras wants to do is get you the puck in the right spot. And that makes things easier for guys like Tyson Forster, who, has a lethal shot, but I don't think has the ability to create his own shot. So he needs a guy like Zegras, yada, yada. Anyways, before we get to Tyson Forster, since we're talking about centers or guys who can play the position, Sean Couturier, Jack, I know he scored 4 points in one game, but right now, as of today, through 6 games, 7 points in 6 games. Now, he started a little slow, first 2 or 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, but he's looked pretty good since. And, I posed the question sort of half jokingly because he doesn't need to be a point per game player on this team, right? But if he can, if the Coots of today can still put up 60 points, that would be massive. So my question to you, Jack, is TK back? Chat, is TK, I'm sorry, is Couturier back?
I mean, until proven otherwise, I'm gonna have to say yes. I mean, do I, in my heart of hearts, do I believe he's that guy? I think we'll see spurts of him. I don't know if he's going to be like that 82 games, but until proven otherwise, I'm going to have to say yes. I mean, he leads the team in points. He still has that defensive prowess. He got bumped up to the top power play unit. Like, he's the guy. He's the guy. I mean, I don't think he's, I still think TK is the best player on the team, and Mishkov is the most skilled player on the team. But for a veteran, the captain, like he fits everything. Like he really does. He's just he's your guy. And, I'm not saying he's up there with the best in the league, but he's what we need right now. And I think that's huge. And I think this is his Tortorella revenge tour. And I'm all for it because all I care about is when that Flyers logo wins. And he is definitely leading the charge, and I'm here for it, baby.
Yeah, you bring up the Torts Revenge Tour, and there's like a handful of guys that come to mind for that. And right, obviously Couturier's one.
He's leading the charge. Him right
really
behind
is.
him, and right behind him's York, and then whoever else.
Yeah, Cam York even looked good. Had an assist on the power play. Got a puck through, and I think they ended up giving Forster the goal. But like that's how simple it can be. Big bodies in front. I think it was Forster and I can't recall the other guy, but they had a guy on each side of the goalie get a shot through. Big bodies box out, get sticks in front of the goalie, and it went in. Like it's not rocket science, So that for me was encouraging to see. Good puck movement. There was a play by Jamie Drysdale was it an overtime? Was it 3-on-3? Did they just go to overtime against somebody, Jack? I'm having trouble remembering here.
The game before Seattle, so the Wild. That's where Kate scored.
Okay, yeah, and Vladar came out and like misplayed the puck somewhat, and Drysdale made a great play behind the goal and outlet pass. All of a sudden, boom, goal. Yeah. To me, that's a confidence building play. That's what you want to see from a guy like Drysdale, and so there's just so many positives to talk about. And hey, if these guys want to prove Torts wrong and yada, yada, go for it. If it makes the team better, if it makes you better, go for it.
That's the point, though. Isn't that the point? Like why you went through all those years, so now when you're winning, you're part of it is you're showing that we didn't need to be yelled at and treated like crap like that because we can win without that. It's when you lose that you go, oh crap, is that coming back? That was kind of what one of the many points of something like that. And it's amazing to see, it's early, but it's against good teams, and this is a team last year that did not get off to an early good start. So, and they've had some other issues with certain players, but they still look pretty good. To me, they're 4-2 against 5 of the 6 teams. To me, were good teams, potentially top of the league teams, maybe not the Wild, and even the Kraken are off to a good start. And so they
didn't lose a regulation game until they played the Flyers.
Yeah, they were 3-0-2, I think. So I'll take that all day.
Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, let's keep moving along here. I think we are just about 40 minutes in. I don't have the clock on the top right here. It's going to be interesting when it's time to end the show here.
Well,
because there's no end show button. So this train, we're just kind of off the tracks at this point. There's no brakes. Okay, so we talked about Coots. Let's talk about. Is it time to talk about Owen Tippett? You think, Jack, or should we?
I mean, I can't believe I made it this far without hearing it. Go ahead, Jim. Should I just put it on mute and let you go?
No. But man, did I nail? I mean, it's only 6 games.
Did I nail it?
Did I nail this or what?
40-point season, 6 games in. Did I nail it or what?
Did I call it?
To your credit. And you called for a 40-goal season in an 82-game season. Now it's looking like he needs 35 goals in a 76-game season. So that's a lot better odds than it was. Yeah. I will give you that.
I mean, at this point, like we're looking at 70 goal season. He's on pace, I think, for 69.
That's what Austin Matthews had, 2 years ago?
Is
Owen Tippett Austin Matthews?
I mean, he's Mikko Rantanen 3 days ago.
Look, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because I was so upset with him at the end of last year. Mostly his interviews and how he viewed his season. But the funny thing is, like, this is true. Don't jinx it. At least until we either trade him or figure something out. But like the way they asked him questions came off so Provorov. It's like, oh, you took 100 less shots. How do you think you did? You barely hit 20 goals. Oh, I had a good season. It's like, what? And that to me, I thought he'd kind of coast into this season. No, the exact opposite. He's looking like the guy he was 2 years ago, mid-season, when he scored backhanded crazy goals against Dallas. Like that is it. And I know some of it is puck luck, like that first goal of the season that bounces off the boards. But you got to be in the right position to be there for the puck luck. Yeah. It seems when it comes to scoring opportunities, the puck is Velcro to a stick. And that is something that only like really good players have. Can he keep it going? Because he is a streaky guy, as most goal scorers are. Well, let's see. Maybe instead of in a 10-game span, he's giving you 2 to 3 goals. Well, maybe he's giving you 5 or 6. And that'll push him well over 30. And that would be a huge win for the Flyers. So far, great start. Best Flyer, I guess, outside of all-around game besides Coots. But offensively, exactly what you want from a guy like Owen Tippett.
Yeah. So flip side is Zegras, who's got all assists, 5 assists in 6 games. Owen Tippett's got 5 goals in 6 games. And yeah, some of them are kind of like, oof, like right spot at the right time. 1 power play goal. But, he's scoring goals.
0 last year, Jim. 0 last year. He's already got 1.
Already got 1. And like, he just needs 8 to 10. And the way the power play's going, they got 3 now. I think they got 3
2 in 1 game.
2 in 1 game. So maybe, maybe that's getting fired up. Who knows? I'm not going to get overly excited about the power play yet. But he's got 1 more power play goal than last year. If he can get 8 to 10, I think it's no doubt at least 30 goals. But what I saw from Tippett under Tortorella, and Tortorella talked him up, like maybe more than any other player in the media. And it wasn't like, some glowing endorsement. It was just, hey, this guy can play. We're trying to get more out of him. And I'm not sure what Torts was telling him. Maybe he was telling him, hey, we need you in transition. We need you in transition. You're a big body. You can fly. We need you to get out with the puck. Right? Like, I see Tippett as a wild stallion, Jack. Like, he needs to be broken in. What do wild stallions want to do? They want to run. Right? And if you try to teach them, they're going to buck you off. Right? So you need to figure out a way to train this wild stallion and show him, hey, there's another way that you can play here, wild stallion. You don't just need to be running as fast as you can every time you get the puck. You can do other things. You don't need to work as hard, or you don't need to play as crazy. You can rein it all in a little bit. And that's what I'm seeing more from Tippett this year. I'm seeing, he seems to be, yeah, he'll ruin plays on his own sometimes. And that's just kind of who he is. Look, he doesn't have the highest hockey IQ, but if you can tell him, dude, this is what I need you to do on the ice. Just focus on these things. Most times you're out there, there's nobody faster than you. Most times you're out there, there's nobody bigger than you. Rein this in, harness it. You have a shot. Put yourself in the right spots. The puck's going to come to you. And that's what we're seeing, right? He's going to be hard to knock off the puck. And occasionally, because look, I don't think anyone's expecting Owen Tippett to lay your ass out. Occasionally he's throwing the body and guys are looking up like, who the hell just hit me? And it was Owen Tippett.
Oh yeah. That led to the whole Konecny lingering thing. It was a big hit from Tippett.
There's been a few of them this year. It's like, holy shit, Owen Tippett's a freight train when he wants to be. Don't piss him off.
That is a player playing with confidence. A talented player playing with confidence is dangerous. And yeah, I mean, he went from last year being a guy, even this offseason, well, where does he fit in the lineup? We have too many wingers, which is still true. Like, we got to trade somebody to top line, top goal scorer on fire to start the season. What do you do with that? And it's going to bring a lot of questions. I hope he can keep it up, because after this year, he's locked into that deal. And it'll be a full no trade clause. But if this is the guy he is, or something close to it, because I understand there's hot starts, there's streaky times, then I can live with that. But we'll see who he really is. But look, he started off the season. I don't particularly remember him freaking out during preseason or anything. So I don't think he's riding the hot preseason. I just think the season started and he came to play. And it's like good. Like maybe you took some of the criticism that you didn't really show in your exit interview, but whatever criticism you took, maybe you turned it into fuel. And I think Tocchet has a little bit to do with this as well. And I kind of like him playing on the top line with Coots and Konecny right now. You know, like you have an opportunity to keep Michkov and Zegras together. And obviously you're not touching Forrester, Brink, and Cates. So, you know, and this is funny because this is a funny point by Charlie's Hamburgers because of all the Buffalo rumors we had discussed. It's true. And it's, what are you going to do? It's like one of those things when a player is playing badly, you're like, just give me a good spurt so I could trade you. But once you're during that good spurt, you're like, oh, he's good. I can't. So it's like, what do you do? Right now, I know they're going to keep him because Elliot Friedman had mentioned that teams had actually inquired about Tippett. And according to the Flyers, he is not for sale. So Dahlin or bust.
I mean, why sign him to that contract, you know?
That was the point I was making for the last 2 years. Like, if you bring in a guy like that, and he played good since we got him, right? It was only last year that was his real, like, what the hell season. And you sign a guy long-term like that, and a year into it, you're going to, like, consider moving him? Teams don't do that because, one, why did you sign him long-term? Do you think every year is going to be sunshine and rainbows? But also, that's not a good look on your franchise. If a guy wants to sign with you, he's not going to want to, like, oh, you're going to just trade me if I have a little dip? Like, that's kind of crazy. And it's not as crazy as it make it sound. It is the NHL. But, like, at the same time, you just feel like they were going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was kind of their diamond in the rough. He was a throw-in to the Giroux trade. We got a 2024 first in that trade. Tippett was the throw-in. So they wanted to make it work. And, you know, I agree with this from Vegas here. With the contracts we're being seen signed today, if you got a guy, I don't know if he hits 40, but if he hits 30 goals, 6.25 per year is a bargain.
Yeah.
If he can be consistent, that's the other thing. If he can be consistent, I don't want perennial 30 goal scorer JVR here where he did it twice in his entire career.
Not once for the Flyers.
Not once. Yeah, right. Both the first and last year in Toronto. Yeah, never for the Flyers. So that being said, if he can do that, you know, at the same time, you got to keep an eye on it. So I guarantee you, if he were to go quiet for a month, they'd be right back on the trade him train. So we'll see. But you know what? If this is the guy they thought they have, and it's always a good sign when a guy gets off to a start right away. It's like they took, not just for their overall stats, it's just they took whatever went wrong the year before and they cared enough to, like, address it. And I think Tocchet deserves credit as well. I think he kind of, when I understand, he was Vancouver credits him a little bit for Brock Besser, but also mainly in Pittsburgh as an assistant coach for Phil Kessel. They call him the Phil Kessel Whisperer, you know, and maybe Tocchet, just don't feed him hot dogs, but maybe
I was going to say maybe every goal he scored, he gets a hot dog.
He dollar dog nights coming back, but like he knows that's not fake. Like we know that's a real thing. Like Crosby, Kessel, Mike Sullivan, they all credit Tocchet for that. And it's a thing. And maybe he saw something or put him in the right situation and he's being rewarded for it. Both of them are. So it's just something to keep an eye on. If he can keep it going, then yes. But you know, you said it yourself. These guys, they're streaky goal scorers. I want to know what's the downtime in between the streakiness. That's my thing. So we'll see. Right now, it's all sunshine and rainbows. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, aside from scoring goals, what should Owen Tippett's responsibility be? You know what I mean? Like he's making money to score. So like every time I send him over the boards, it's Steve, get in the spot, fire the puck.
Just cause havoc in the offensive zone. Because when he's not scoring, I like that he's laying hits. I'll
Yeah.
take. Yeah. Hey, you
Yeah,
want to
all of
take
a sudden
chances?
he's like an energy guy, It's like, holy shit. Like a hit like that can change momentum in a game.
Again, a player playing with confidence goes a long way. And if you want to try a weird dangle and maybe you lose possession, if you're giving me a goal every other night, be my guest. So we'll see how he can keep it going. But I think who had Tippett 5 goals in 6 games on their bingo card? Absolutely nobody. So we'll take it. Oh, maybe you, Jim. Maybe you had it.
F4. I mean, I think I said 37 goals to be exact, which I
But yeah,
think
would you say
at
push
this point,
40? He'll be pushing 40, I think.
yeah, at this point, it's almost reasonable, Like,
Well,
yeah,
he's pushing 70 at this point. So,
yeah.
of course.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm like, there will be periods where he slows down for sure. Like teams are going to start to catch on. Like, hey, we got to kind of zero in on Owen Tippett here. So, if Tockett's feeding Kessel hot dogs, maybe he's got some oats and hay for
Yeah, like
Tippett
with the
post-game.
gun. Yeah, he just right into the mouth. Phil
Yeah.
Kessel will always be an anomaly to me. But whatever, man. If you're the guy who can figure that out, I'm glad you're my coach, at least for now.
And at the very least with Tippett, he's been fun to watch. Like coming into this year, that's all I was hoping for, because the Flyers have a decent forward group. They have a group of forwards where they should be putting goals up, and I just want to be entertained, because I don't think a Stanley Cup this year is realistic. Maybe they make the playoffs. We'll see. But I just want to be entertained. So a guy like Tippett, to me, is pure entertainment. If you're knocking guys on your ass and you're scoring a goal every other night, and you have, look, on this team, highlight real goal guys, Tippett's top of the list. Maybe Zegras is up there too for as setting these guys up, but Tippett's top of the list for highlight real goals. I think obviously Michkov is up there, but like Tippett's that guy. Like most highlight real goals the last 2-3 seasons, it's Owen Tippett.
He'll at least try. I think that the best highlight reel goal the Flyers have had in the last, I challenge you to give me a better one, was that backhanded goal by Tippett against Dallas. I was at that game. That was what? Well, you were in the press box.
Yeah, I was there. Look, there's not too many times I've jumped out of my seat while in the press box, and I did for that. I'm like, holy shit, that just happened.
Which is taboo up there, which is totally taboo. That's why, but no, it's funny. I don't want to think that we went to the game and we don't talk to each other. We just get on to do that.
No, yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, it was just kind of like, holy crap, like what did I just watch?
Was wild. I actually had one of the worst angles for it too, but like on TV, like I can't think of a better highlight reel goal. Like when was the last one? And he can be that guy when he's playing with confidence, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. All right, enough of Tippett. What's next, Jim?
I could talk Tippett all day.
I know you could.
There was something out that I put last week, a little rumor video, and after speaking to some people, I mean, obviously Elliot Friedman put out, he hasn't heard anything specific with Tippett. I'm not sure how true like any of that is. Like, I don't know if the Flyers are close to trading Tippett at all, if they're talking to anybody or what. Like Friedman ended up saying teams are calling on him. But like you said, like I think it's a quick, like, yeah, like what would the offer be? No thanks kind of thing, So
well, I think a lot of the calls are in reference to last year, but they see this early spurt and they're like, okay, maybe we will inquire.
Yeah.
And the Flyers are kind of like, we're not doing it for the sake of doing it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and they shouldn't be. There's no
Tippett's a stud. Like, there's no other way to really say it. And if you're going to move a stud, and somebody mentioned it in the chat on his contract, that makes him even more valuable now, right? Like TK's making more money, and look, there's a chance that Tippett scores more goals than TK. Like, I don't know, that Tippett contract. It's early, 6 games in, but if things keep going how they're going, that contract could make him even more valuable, make him even more like, holy shit, like the Flyers can spend on another position because they locked down a winger for less than $8 million, Like you shouldn't be spending more than that on a wing, in my opinion. So I don't know. There's a lot to like there. We'll see if it continues.
Fingers crossed.
All right. So moving on to another winger real quick here, because I did want to spend some time on Forster before we get to Luchenko. Tyson Forster.
Vegas, real quick. I heard there's like potentially a GM group chat. So they may call each other, but there's a group chat.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so you'll see.
Tyson Forster, hot start, 5 points in 6 games. This is what we were hoping for because he's through the last 2 seasons, his first 2 in the league, started somewhat slow. 5 points in his first 6 games. He's a +5 power play goal. All the things that we want to see. He's averaging the most ice time through 6 games than he has in any other previous season. This guy feels like Tockett's like this is his guy to me. Like Tyson Forster is his guy. Hot start for Forster. I don't know if the almost point per game pace is going to keep up, but if Forster can push for 55, 60 points this season, push for 30 season, Jack, that's a breakout year. That's what we want to see, right?
I mean, he is a prototypical winger for Tocchet. You can score. He's on the best line on the team, at least chemistry-wise, and you're defensively responsible. I mean, he's a poor man's Mark Stone. You know, I mean, that's saying something. You know, and a lot of it's the line, but this is who we drafted. And Jim, you liked this guy since he was drafted, even before he was drafted. And I thought he just had a heavy shot. He brings a lot more to his game. And this is the first year where he's actually started off hot, in a sense. You know, almost a point per game player, +5. I know we don't put a whole lot of stock in a plus minus, but come on. He's got 5 points and they're +5. That means when that line is on the, or at least when he's on the ice, he's either no goals are scored or his line produces a goal. That's fantastic so far. And I will take that all day. You know, so I mean, when it comes to what wing is this team going to trade, now I'm really not sure. Yeah, it's early because Forster's the set. If you're talking about some of these other potential top players being available, they're going to ask for your top players, at least prospect wise. And if it's Tippett's not the guy, next in line is Forster. But how can you look at what you're seeing from him and be like, yeah, I'll trade him instead? I love Forster. I can't. I mean, last year, that line is what kept things going. He somehow scraped and clawed to 25 goals, some of it in garbage time, which I did think was a little bit meh, but he still was easily a 20 goal scorer in his, second full season in the league. And now he's already off to a pretty good start points-wise and just overall best line on the teams. Like, and here we didn't even think he was going to play till December or January. Another reason why if they push for a playoff spot, it's going to be him and his line. And just keep it rolling, please. Is this a guy who could flirt with 30 goals? I don't think he's like the Tippett. We're hoping he blows past it. But he scored 25 last year, 20 the year before. And this is the first year he got off to a good start, a hot start, at least offensively.
If he keeps firing pucks like he did the other night on the power play, like if you have the puck anywhere near the slot, anywhere within that radius of the net, just fire it away, Forster. Fire away, Forster. That's a T-shirt. Because he's got a bomb. Like use it, dude. Like, don't pass the puck. Fire that bomb. And we saw him pick his corner, and the goalie had no shot. That'll happen more times than not. So encouraging to see. Again, 5 games in. But look, there's a lot to be excited about. So let's get a little excited.
Get excited.
Yeah, before we move on to our next topic, Rosario, I think it's been a little while since we've seen you in here, Rosario. So,
sorry. Go ahead.
I think it was December we heard. So, still
allegedly
a month away. And he'll, Risto will kind of be like a December trade deadline edition. Maybe it'll take him a little bit to get acclimated again, but he'll help stabilize that the back end of the defense. So things could get interesting. If the Flyers can keep this up, and they get a guy like Ristolainen back, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. So speaking of the center position and positions that the Flyers need, and, they got to figure out a way to get that guy, Jet Luchenko, who the Flyers drafted over Zeev Buium, who all we're hearing about is how he's putting up points on the power play. That's great, yada, yada.
Minus player.
Hell, the Flyers have to figure out what they're going to do with Luchenko. And it's been our speculation all along. They're going to try to keep him up with the Flyers as long as they can until they have to send him back to Guelph. And, it's hard to look, he's a 19-year-old kid, number one. And I guess I have a lot of these people muted on Twitter or X, and I guess people are in an uproar over Luchanko because they're seeing all the points that Bouillon's putting up on a stacked power play, and that's kind of his specialty. And Luchanko is still battling for a roster spot or whatever you want to call it. 19-year-old kid, man, right? Let him cook. Let him develop the way that, like, if he was 20 years old, he'd be with the Phantoms, no doubt. Right? The Flyers just want him in their system. They want
him away from Guelph.
Well, they want their hand. And look, so I have an argument for this. Like, I think the Flyers just want their hands on him. Like, they want to see him.
I agree with you because their hands on him, their feedback, their practices, their occasional game is better than anything in Guelph.
Right. But that's not to say that he's going to all of a sudden forget how to play hockey in Guelph, though.
Oh, no. I just think I wouldn't even say it stunts his development. I just think it's, of all the places he could go, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. Like, I just don't want him to go there.
Yeah, but I mean, so like, I got you.
He's going to get smoked every night. He's going to be off to a slow start.
But they're actually a solid team this year, though. They're at least 500 last time I checked.
All right,
and
I'll take
while
that.
He's been down there, he hasn't exactly blown the doors off.
At the same time, you're right. Let me get that out of the way. You're absolutely right. He has not. But at the same time, like, he's barely playing. Like, what is he
right now?
Get Luchanko on the fourth line. What is he supposed to do with Hathaway? Like, I mean, I love Hathaway, but like, he should be playing. If you really want him here, and you don't just want him away from Guelph, you actually want him to succeed here, which I don't think is the plan. I think they want him away from Guelph. They want their hands on him.
Yeah.
But why is he like? And I get you have other lines out there and other players, and you got to see some things. But having him play 7 minutes a night on the fourth line. I'm sorry. What is he supposed to do? He's not getting any penalty kill or power play time. Rightfully so if you're trying to win this year. But I'm just saying, from him, what is he really supposed to do? Well, he's got this. He's got the same exact stat line at this time this year than he did last year. And last year he had like at least more time. It was nothing. No goals, no assists, -3.
Yeah, but none of that really matters, though.
Was he supposed to? He's barely getting the time to do it. If you want to see what you have, you got to unleash him a little bit. Well, he's a skilled player. Put him with skilled players.
Yeah, but you know what you have in him. That's why you drafted him. And so, like, 7 minutes in the NHL on any line, playing with any NHL player, is learning. It's all experience.
Oh, well, that I agree with. That I'm
like,
full.
Like to
but you were talking about the Twitter people freaking out.
Yeah, even if you put him in the top 6 line. Okay, yeah. Even if you put him top 6 lines and he's not putting up points, I'm not losing sleep over that. I just want to see him as a 19-year-old he's undersized. They have him listed 5'11". He's not. I'm 5'11". I'm a head taller than Jet Luchanko.
And he's a year younger than Boyum. Remember that. He's the young guy of the draft.
Yeah, let him cook. There's no rush. There's no reason to panic over a 19-year-old kid. He's got skill. He's got speed. He's got hockey IQ. He has all that. It's in him. It's there.
Lyndon brings up a good point here because this is why Torts wanted him last year was because of his speed. And I agree with you. But at the same time, yes, the speed should do something for him, but it's not like he's going to dangle through the entire team with Garnett Hathaway. And at one point it was Gubrankin, but they've been switching things around.
Oh, I see. So you're saying why put him, why play him? Why keep him up if you're just going to put him on the fourth line? But I think that's the thing.
The speed can only do so much on its own. Points
don't necessarily mean player progression.
And I don't think he's played bad. I just don't think he's done literally anything offensively. And that's where people are losing their gourd over.
Yeah. And they shouldn't be, right? We saw how kind of Couturier was brought into the league and, maybe Berube kept them in the bottom 6 for far too long. I don't think that's what's happening with Luchanko.
Right. And Coots had skills to play in the bottom 6. He was a defensive-minded center, at least early in his career. He still is, obviously, but early in his career, that's what he would do. He would purposely take defensive draws and things of that nature, and he shut down Malkin as a 19-year-old. Yeah. He had those skills. Luchanko is an offensive player. He's smaller. He can't, a smaller offensive guy in the fourth line, That's like playing NHL and trying to get all the young guys because you want to play with them, and you got to find room for a guy that you like. Oh, well, just throw him on the fourth line, and I'll use the fourth line. Well, they don't play the fourth line, one, all that much, and two, in the way that you would play the other lines. And what is he supposed to do? Give and goes with Garnet Hathaway and Noah Juleson, like Christ in heaven. Like it's. I really think it's more about what you said earlier, Jim, keeping them out of Guelph so they can just look. We'll just get our hands on them. We'll to give them our feedback, our videotapes, our coaching. And then we'll send him off, and we'll, next year he'll be with the Phantoms because he did neither last year or this year. Did I think he did enough to make the team? I think it had to do with Torts last year, and this year it has to do with the goofy rule and Guelph being terrible.
Yeah. And look, even if he is getting in this situation, like nobody wants to see Luchenko on the fourth line, but if we're looking for positives, he's getting NHL experience. The fourth line's going to have different duties while they're on the ice. Maybe more defensive, maybe get in on the forecheck, maybe cycle the puck, yada, yada. Luchenko is learning how to do all these things. He's learning how to play maybe defensive hockey, whatever it is. He's learning. He's gaining experience. Yeah, he's not putting up points, but like you say, he's playing with Hathaway and whoever's on the left side. I guess my thing is this kid's going to score. He's going to put up points at the NHL level, just not right now. And that's okay. That means the Flyers have a decent team in front of him, right? It's okay. Let him cook a little bit, let him hone his skills. The situation is what it is. I don't think there's any reason to complain about it. It just, what are you going to do?
The whole Boyum thing, it's just like, that's in our heads. That has nothing to do with the Flyers and their development in Luchenko. That is 100% a fan thing. I get it. We broadcasted that draft live. We all dropped our drawers too. When that happened, we couldn't believe it, but they're not interested in all that. They want to do what they think is best for him. And honestly, the one negative I can think of is like, they want the kid to shoot more. That's it. They just like, dude, you were there, shoot, stop trying to pass. He's a playmaking center. They want to pass. I get it. The offensive skill is there. He's younger than most of his draft class. He probably really shouldn't have been in the NHL either year. But I also think he should have not been in juniors. I think he should have been in the AHL. It is what it is. It's it's just the world we live in and how things go. So I'm not upset about it. I'm not losing my mind over it. I just wish that the new rule was a year earlier, and I'm not worried about it. That's ultimately the thing. Because I watched him with the Phantoms in the playoffs last year, and he was one of the guys who stood out. Yeah,
it kind of just is what it is at this point, I get that people like to complain. Like, there's too many things going well. What do we have to complain about? Let's complain about Luchenko, yada, yada.
Right. No, you're right.
All right, we're just about an hour in, so we're going to save the prospect talk. If you wanted to hear the prospect talk, head over to the other videos we put out this week. The Phantoms prospects update. The goalie pipeline is looking like it's back. I put out the NCAA pipeline with the CHL bonus coverage in that episode out Monday, so make sure you guys go check those out. I think that's it for the topics tonight, Jack, right? Flyers play tomorrow night against Ottawa in Ottawa. They'll play Claude Giroux's Senators. So I don't think we had anything else, right?
I don't know the lineup or anything yet. If Vladar's in, I'm calling for a 4-1 Flyers win. I have full confidence in that.
I'm going to stick right there with you. I'm going to hop on that 4-1 bandwagon. Empty net goal, maybe even.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe. Help us continue our quest for 2,000 YouTube subscribers. I think we're 3 or 4 away from 1,700. So maybe you can get us there by the time we wrap up the episode. Like and leave a comment for us on YouTube. Let us know, did you like this extra view that we have going on here? It's going to be interesting to see how we end this episode because I don't see an option. So if you listen to us as a podcast, make sure you listen to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Set alerts so you're the first to know when we drop a new show. For all the latest episodes, you can find us on YouTube. For Jack, I'm Jim. We're going to sign off here, I think. In the meantime, don't forget to keep it high, keep it wide. We'll see you next time.
Wait, Jim. Real quick, before you log off, I think we should do the read.
Go ahead.
Oh, I gotta look it up. So pull up the thing.
All right, we're doing the read before we sign off here, boys and girls.
Snuck it in right before the buzzer. As you can see, I'm adding words so I can try to find it. Oh, no. I'm struggling. All right. It's around here somewhere. All right, guys. Last time out. Because if you're a diehard Philly sports fan, you need to hear about this. Fans of Philly is the ultimate way to hit the road with the Birds, the Flyers, the Phillies, or even the Sixers. We're talking full travel packages, your hotel, your transportation, and yes, the tailgates that are basically legendary at this point, all taken care of for you. No stress, no scrambling for tickets, no worrying about where you're staying. You just show up, throw on your jersey, and enjoy the ride with your fellow diehard Philly fans. Well, so whether it's flying out to see the Eagles take over an opponent's arena, cheering on the Flyers in enemy territory, or making it a full weekend getaway for the Phillies and Sixers games, fans of Phillies has you covered. Trust me, this is the closest you'll get to feeling like one of the players when they roll into town, because the takeover is real. So check them out Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and start planning your next Philly sports road trip today. That's Fans of Philly, phfansofphilly.com, where every away game feels like a home game. And Jim is gone. And with that, thank you, everybody. We will end the show. It says go live, but we already went live. Jim, come back. I don't know what to do. What's this button do? Leave studio. How long does this guy think this read is? Well, if anybody's still on and has any questions for me, I like candlelight dinners, long walks on the beach, sunsets, sunrises. What else do I like? I used to like the NHL video game. Jim.
Sorry, I had to take the longest piss of my life. Are we still live?
I don't know. It says go live in the right-hand corner, so I don't know.
All right, let's see what happens when we hit this. I'm pretty sure we already did this, though.
Oh, boy.
What's gonna happen? Or do I have to end this on YouTube? Are you getting bonus coverage tonight,
You
everyone?
should. I'm just making stuff up as I go.
All right, let's see. Whoever's still with us, I'm sorry for anything that you may see or not want to see.
There's no comment, so that's good. Yeah, where you normally end the stream, it just says go live. So I got nothing.
It's bizarre, right?
What if you just leave the studio without do it?
It might. Unless I had to go live for 2 streams, but it said people were watching from both.
I'm gonna go on YouTube right now and see if we're live. Oh God, we're getting comments. We must still be live. Nothing but the best here from High and Wide Hockey. Only been doing this almost 10 years.
Yeah, and see now it says, okay, so we didn't go live on the left one. I see. All right, boys and girls, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You got your bonus coverage. You got the read in. We're all trapped. Guys, thanks for hanging out. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.